Assalamu alaikum. This is Umer and this is Baithak episode 1. Ab, this is I don't know how this is gonna actually I do know how this is gonna go. I've actually really prepared this podcast properly, and predominantly what I want to achieve out of this podcast is mainly nothing because I know this is going to be a 30-40 minute long podcast, and it's just going to be audio, and it's mostly going to be in English, and it's majority part of it's going to be extremely heavily boring. But I'm going to try to make it as, you know, engaging and fun as I can. And in no way, I don't think it's going to be anything related to what my YouTube videos are, because my YouTube videos is an entirely different persona. And if people you don't know me and you're listening to me for the first time, assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar Numan. I'm a 20-year-old mechanical engineering student who lives in Karachi, and I've recently found out that I actually genuinely love making YouTube videos. And mainly what I do is I try to tell stories and things I've gone through in my entire life, and things that when they happened, I thought they were just like extremely embarrassing and I shouldn't share them. And there, I was very scared to tell anyone about them. But then I realized, who is a person mainly? मतलब ये इंसान होता क्या है? A person is an amalgamation of the things you go through. And I think you're not more than the mistakes you've outrun in a way. Now, one of the things that I really want to talk about today is comparison, really, or how that played a huge role in my life, and how I came out of it, and what I learned. कि मतलब how you do कि compare करते एक दूसरे को कि एक बंदा ऐसा है, आप ऐसे हैं, और फिर you do something. Let's say you get an A. Let's say you work really hard and then you get a B in your economics exam, but then you see a guy who got an A star, or you see a guy who got a world distinction, and then you just say, okay, my efforts are extremely worthless. So majority of the podcast is just going to be me trying to dissect. Actually, I've dissected it entirely. मैंने उसको पूरा एक केस बनाया हुआ उसके खिलाफ, and और मैं उसको I'm going to present it as beautifully articulately I can, and see how it works out, how it pans out, and how it is received. So if you're someone who compares him or herself or themselves or kuch bhi, whatever you identify as, with another person, and that's mainly why you're sad or depressed, then this is the podcast for you. Okay. But first, I'm going to share a thing that's been happening to me. It's something that I've been actually scared to talk about in my videos. And I'm going to tell you why. Achha, so these podcasts are going to be extremely, personal. And the reason they're gonna be extreme. And don't get me wrong, मेरे YouTube videos and they're extremely personal as well. Like I tell you, मैं कोई gutter में गिर गया था. I tell you the things I've done for like girls I liked, and all of those things. I literally told you that I was in a relationship for 3 months and ये वो, and like it's like मैं अपने किसी दोस्त से बात कर रहा हूँ. And I wonder what that's like. दोस्तों से बात खैर. But these podcasts, I know not a lot of people are gonna listen. So I know if I put them out, it's जो भी सुनना चाह रहा होगा, they actually genuinely want to listen. And if they want to know about me, if they want to know what I have to say or what I have to think, and not a lot of people do, then they deserve to know a lot more than people who just watch my videos do. Okay. So so it's going to be extremely private. So the other day I was going through my YouTube, I was going through my Hotmail account, and I was going through my emails. So it was around 12 a.m. 12 p.m. actually. दोपहर का वक्त हो रहा था, और आई गो थ्रू माई जंक ईमेल, और मैं कहता हूँ यार ये जंक ईमेल्स के अंदर क्या पड़ा हुआ है. सो नथिंग रियली कैचेज माई आई इन एन ईमेल, बिकॉज एन ईमेल इज़ जस्ट 12-13 हज़ार ईमेल्स आई हुई होती हैं, एंड रैंडम स्पैम आई हुई होती है, और बस ट्विटर की आई हुई, यूट्यूब की आई हुई, इन चीज़ों की आई हुई है. And you don't really pay that much attention, do you? But I went through my junk email. I went through my junk. With this podcast now just turned into completely sexual. Okay, so I went through my junk folder, और फिर उस junk folder के अंदर एक email आई हुई थी जिस पे literally the subject line was my name, and then उसके आगे लिखा हुआ था मेरा password. And that really caught my eye, because I was like, what is this? Like, why is why do I have an email जिसके अंदर जिसकी subject line is my name and then my password? And don't get me wrong, वो जो password था ना, it was an old password, लेकिन it was a password that I've changed like 3-4 months ago, but it was still a password. तो मैंने कहा भाई इसके पास ये password किस तरह है मेरा? So I opened up the email and I've deleted it as of now because I had to. Lekin I think I have it up on my laptop. I'll read it out. So the email was basically just a thread and it started off as K, hi Umar Naman. Um, this is, I don't know, whatever name they took. I don't really remember the name. And then they said, K, I know your password is, and let's say for the sake of argument, my password is ice cream. Okay. So they go, hi Umar Naman, I know your I know your password is ice cream, and you don't know me at all, but I know nearly everything about you. And the next 24 hours are going to be extremely crucial for you, because listen up closely, and they're going to be extremely crucial, or basically just a thread ke, while you were surfing through the web, a malware detected your PC, and then it's installed in your laptop, and now I have your password, and I have all your FB contact list. I have all the contacts you have, all your emails, and I have, and here's what really made me realize that this was basically just spam. तो उसने कहा कि oh, so you went on a porn website, and so जब तुम पहुँचे ना तो I turned on the webcam, and while you were watching and pleasuring yourself while watching a porno, I opened up the webcam and I recorded you masturbating. And so, first of all, like that's a huge threat, like if someone actually masturbates in front of a laptop with their webcam open while watching porn, because a lot of people do, but I don't do that. Clearly, I just don't do that, because when I read it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've never done that. Like, I've never, I've never done it in front of a laptop. I don't fucking do that. So, मैंने कहा यार ये तो मैंने किया नहीं है, तो this is just a baseless threat, right? So, but then again, and plus I have a tape on my webcam. So even if he opened up the webcam and was recording me supposedly doing anything, he wouldn't have recorded anything, because there's literally a tape on it. So I opened up the camera app on my laptop. मैंने कहा भाई ये क्या है, क्या दिख रहा होगा इसको? And he literally can't see anything, because when I open up the camera, it literally shows nothing because there's a tape on it. So I was really scared. मैंने कहा यार इसको एक दिन होने दो, and then the other day, and then literally the next day, once I gave it a day, the next day I received a similar email from another name. It was a similar email, but the पैसे reduce हो गए थे. उसने कहा या तो मुझे ये बता दो, मतलब ये पैसे दे दो $2,000, वरना मैं ये लीक कर दूंगा, and I'll send it to everyone and you're gonna live your life in complete shame. तो मैंने कहा भाई मेरे पास तो $2,000 नहीं है यार. मेरा लीक कर दो. अजीब, हर कोई मुझे एक्सपोज करने में लगा हुआ है, अजीब दिमाग ख़राब. तो मैंने कहा भाई मेरे पास, मैं आई ऑब्वियसली डिडंट रिप्लाई टू द ईमेल. एंड व्हेन यू रिसीव एन ईमेल लाइक दैट, व्हेन यू रिसीव अ baseless scam, I actually researched about this, and it was the reason they have my password and the reason they have my email is because they're like massive leaks जो होते हैं on the internet. And what happens is that they um, if I'm not wrong, तो हैकर्स के पास है ना, ये मैसिव लीक्स के थ्रू इनके पास ईमेल्स और पर्सनल इन्फॉर्मेशन आ जाती है रिगार्डिंग एन ईमेल. तो ये कोई हैक किया होगा उन्होंने किसी का सर्वर वर्वर, क्योंकि व्हाट यू डू इज़ दैट व्हेन यू गो थ्रू, like let's say you sign up on let's say you sign up on Spotify, for the sake of argument. Let's say you sign up on Spotify. So Spotify पे if you sign up with this email, जिस पे ये emails, जिस पे ये thread आ रही है, if you sign up with that email, so majority, around 90% of the people use the same exact password that they've used on their Hotmail account or Gmail account for their Spotify as well, क्योंकि it's easier to remember, right? So that's what they do. They're like, अगर इसका Spotify हमने हैक कर लिया और उसकी ये ईमेल है, तो मेनली 90% केसेस के अंदर यही पासवर्ड उसकी ईमेल का भी होगा. लेकिन इन माई केस अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह माई पासवर्ड इज़ नॉट दैट, इट वाज कम्प्लीटली चेंज. तो उसको कहीं और से किसी लीक के थ्रू से मेरा पासवर्ड मिला, किसी और कंपनी के थ्रू, और फिर उसने मुझे ईमेल किया, क्योंकि उसके पास मेरी ईमेल है अब, लेकिन उसके बाद वो पासवर्ड गलत लगा हुआ है. तो आई वाज लाइक यार इसने इतना झंझट क्यों किया, मतलब व्हाई डिड ही गो थ्रू ऑल ऑफ दिस प्रोसेस, कि ईमेल कर रहा है, मुझे थ्रेड भेज रहा है, भाई अगर तेरे पास पासवर्ड है तो घुस जा मेरे अकाउंट के अंदर, निकाल ले चीज़ें, निकालनी क्यों नहीं निकाल रहा. तो this is what I started thinking. So I went on my, अगर आप if you use Hotmail or anything, if you use email, so if you go in their security um, account or security details के अंदर जाओ ना, तो you actually end up finding कि there's a option in which you can actually understand and learn what the sign in activity was, right? तो साइन इन एक्टिविटी क्या है, तो मैंने खोली कि किस किसने कब कब साइन इन किया, एंड आई एक्चुअली सॉ कि मतलब देर वर मल्टीपल साइन इन अटेम्प्ट्स टू साइन इन टू माई अकाउंट, लाइक मल्टीपल अनसक्सेसफुल अटेम्प्ट्स टू साइन इन टू माई अकाउंट फ्रॉम डिफरेंट कंट्रीज. सो कोई चाइना में उसको खोलने की कोशिश कर रहा था, कोई जर्मनी में खोलने की कोशिश कर रहा था, एंड आई थिंक दिस इज़ माई गेस, आई एम नॉट अ टेक savvy dude, लेकिन दिस इज़ व्हाट आई थिंक इट वाज, कि कोई बंदे ने या कोई हैकर ने कोई सिस्टम बनाया हुआ है जिस पे वो लूप पे जो है ना आईपी बदल बदल कर डिफरेंट एरियाज़ की डिफरेंट कंट्रीज़ की आईपी लगा लगा कर मेरे अकाउंट के अंदर या जो भी उसके पास ईमेल्स हैं उनके अंदर वो लॉग इन करने की कोशिश कर रहा है उस पासवर्ड के थ्रू, लेकिन वो एंटर नहीं कर पा रहा किसी तरीके से. सो दैट्स वाई ऑल ऑफ द अटेम्प्ट्स वर अनसक्सेसफुल. लेकिन आई वाज लाइक यार अगर इसने इतनी ख्वारी कर ली है तो ये किसी तरीके से पासवर्ड इसने खुदा ना खास्ता निकलवा लिया तो मेरे तो लग गए. तो व्हाट आई डिड वाज आई कम्प्लीटली मैंने इस ईमेल को जो है ना बिल्कुल ही फारिग कर दिया, और इस पर अब कुछ भी नहीं आता ख़ास, और इस पे से सारी सब्सक्रिप्शन हटा दी, सब कुछ हटा दिया, और इस ईमेल से सारी ईमेल्स डिलीट कर दी, इसका पासवर्ड बदल दिया, इस पर मज़ीद सिक्योरिटी लगा दी एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. एंड देन दी अदर डे आई वाज स्क्रॉलिंग थ्रू इंस्टाग्राम और मेरे दोस्त के पास भी ये थ्रेट आई हुई थी, तो मैंने कहा यार ऐसे कुछ होता नहीं है, जस्ट चिल आउट. तो खैर, so that's the tea on that. And now let's move on to, now I'm going to share a very personal story, right? So even like this wasn't personal enough. So it's funny because what's funny is that I realized that this was a scam based on the fact that I don't masturbate, and so that's how I realized कि this is a scam. Like what the fuck, मैंने कब कर लिया ये, मैं तो नहीं करता ये, तो आपने कब देख लिया मुझे करते हुए. So that's the tea. The tea is that Umar Numan doesn't masturbate. Anyways, so let's talk about comparison. And I realized that this is a thing I had, matlab comparing myself to people who were better than me, and in a specific area or skill set, let's say. लेकिन पढ़ाई में कोई मुझसे ज़्यादा अच्छा है, या कोई बास्केटबॉल खेलने में मुझसे ज़्यादा अच्छा है, या फिर कोई स्पीचेस में मुझसे ज़्यादा अच्छा है, या डिबेटिंग में ज़्यादा अच्छा है. So comparison really kills you. It's a dope. It just completely destroys your self-esteem and everything. Anything you work hard on, you compare yourself to someone. And I started, going to therapy because of it. When I joined my university, NED जब मैंने join की थी, तो NED जब मैंने join की ना, तो I was surrounded by exceptionally smart people. Not exceptionally smart, because NED, even though it's like a very difficult university to get into, and it's like very smart people join it. I'm not saying I'm smart in the slightest. I'm just saying कि खैर, the people who were in with me in my university, they were just very smart people, and they were very hardworking. Positions आई हुई थी उनकी पूरी पाकिस्तान कराची के अंदर, एंड ऑल होता है बोर्ड के अंदर. तो आई वॉज थिंकिंग यार ये तो बड़े स्मार्ट लोग हैं, मैं इनके साथ क्यों बैठा हूँ, ये तो मुझे कॉम्प्लेक्स का शिकार हो जाता था बार बार. एंड आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल एक्चुअली गो थ्रू दैट. आई एक्चुअली टॉक टू अ बंच ऑफ माई फ्रेंड्स, एंड जिन लोगों से मैं अपने आप कंपेयर कर रहा था, इवन दे वर कंपेयरिंग देमसेल्व्स टू मी. सो दिस इज़ अ वेरी प्रिवेलिंग एंड कॉमन प्रॉब्लम. So I started going to therapy, and I started asking my therapist, what the fuck do I do? Like, I just constantly, just completely, every single time I talk to anyone, I just start comparing myself to them. And I actually had this toxic habit, which I realized, okay, I actually wanted to hang out with people who weren't as smart as me or as good as me at things. And the reason for that was कि it fed my ego. It made me realize कि oh, I'm better than them. तो literally मेरे जो friend groups था ना, फ्रेंड सर्कल था, मैं ऐसे लोगों को ढूंढता था जो सबकॉन्शियसली, बेसिकली मैं कॉन्शियसली ऐसे मतलब स्टूपिड दोस्तों को नहीं ढूंढता था, बट सबकॉन्शियसली माई ब्रेन वुड ऑलवेज बी क्लोजर एंड बी सिक्योर एंड हैप्पी सराउंडेड बाई पीपल हु वर नॉट एज स्मार्ट और एज गुड एट सर्टन थिंग्स देन मी. लाइक दिस इज समथिंग that was heavily toxic about me. So what that did was कि मैं growth नहीं हो रही थी मेरी. I wasn't learning new things because I was just friends with people who were dumber than I was, and I'm pretty dumb. So so that was the tea. And then the therapist actually was quite a help, and she made me realize कि so do you remember, what she did was essentially made me realize that, do you remember a time when you yourself weren't going through all of this? So she said कि do you remember a time where you weren't like this, where you weren't comparing yourself to other people? And I started thinking ki yaar, there was a time like this. It was back in like ninth grade. Ninth grade is where everything began. Like O level started, and I was just comparing myself to literally everyone, and that was a huge causing a huge toll on my mental health, you know. And उस वक्त तो कोई खास अंदाज़ा होता नहीं था कि मेंटल हेल्थ भी कुछ होता है. बस ऐसा लगता था कि हाँ भाई एंग्जाइटी होती है और ये नॉर्मल है, और ये सैडनेस होती है, ये नॉर्मल है, ये हर इंसानों को होती है. लेकिन जिस किस्म की सैडनेस मुझे हो रही थी, it wasn't like normal because it was a lot. तो um, तो उस वक्त मैंने, तो then she said कि do you remember why you weren't like that at that time? I was like, I didn't compare myself to anyone else. She's like, yes, but did you compare yourself to someone? Because there's like no way you weren't comparing yourself. And then किसी तरीके से she made me realize कि at that moment I was comparing myself to myself, and that is the most viable and smartest option there is. You should just compare yourself to yourself. Like the other day, I was having a conversation with my friend Saad, and he goes, "Ki, how do you know you're good at something? You know, how do you know you're good at something? Do a lot of people praise you? That's when you know you're good at something. Because if a lot of people praise you, that means a lot of people watch you, and if a lot of people watch you, then there's hate and love. So if you're good at something, that would essentially mean that there's like no hate because you're good at something, you know. So why would there be any hate? Why would anyone say you're bad at this when you're actually good at this? So, but then there are people like that who hate you and who just don't like you, who just say you're just getting worse day by day. There will be people like that. That you shouldn't define yourself by those kind of comments. Khair. So the way you realize that you're good at something is by actually doing something. Like you can't make a comparison. Okay, let's say you make a video for the first time. Okay, you don't have anything to compare that video to because you've never made a video. So you put all your effort into this one video, and you know for the koi bhi cheez you do it for the first time, you can pick up anything to do for the first time ever, and you will be exceptionally bad at it. Because you're not smart. Who do you think you are? आपको लगता है कि you're smart or you're good at something? No, that's not how things are. You will never be good at these things on the go. That's what pisses me off about so many people. They're like, oh, you know, you should find your passion. You should do that. You should find your passion. But here's the thing, like, how the fuck are you supposed to know your passion without actually trying to attempt and be bad at a lot of things? Like, you should attempt to do a lot of things so that you understand that after you do them for some amount of time, you're still exceptionally bad at them. So that means this isn't really your passion, you know, because you're miserable when you do it, and you're not going anywhere when you're doing it, you know. So that clearly indicates that this isn't your passion. So that ticks it off, and then you go on the next thing, and then you go on the next thing, and that's how you find your passion. You don't find your passion by just doing one thing and being like, oh, I kind of don't want to kill myself when I do it, so I guess this is it, you know. So this is not how things work. Khair. So what was I saying? So once you make a video for the first time, right? You are going to be exceptionally bad at it. But then you make another video. But when you make the other video, you have this one video to compare it with. So you should always aim to make the second one better than the first one, then the third one better than the second one, and the fourth one better than the third one. So if you keep on doing that, that's how you know you're good at something, because you, in a way, realize your own shortcomings, your own inability to completely perfect something, and that's what makes you good at something. कि once you एक आपने वीडियो बनाई एंड यू नो इस वीडियो के अंदर ये गलत चीज़ें थी, ये नहीं करना चाहिए था, सो आपने दूसरी वीडियो बनाई वो सारी चीज़ें ना करके. सो दैट्स हाउ यू नो यूर गुड एट इट, बिकॉज यू नो जो पिछला आपने काम किया था उसमें बुरा क्या था. ये ऐसी कोई रेवलेशन हो जाती है ना कि मतलब, खैर इस पॉडकास्ट आपको पता चलेगा उमर नुमान इज़ क्वाइट द डीप मैन. खैर सो हाँ, सो कंपैरिजन पे आते हैं. अब हाउ वाई इज़ इट लाइक वाई आर देयर सो मेनी पीपल हु आर सैड, यू नो. This was a huge question in my head कि मतलब everyone on the internet is just exceptionally sad, you know. You just find these people and they're just sad all the time. You're like, why is that? So I started realizing that when I joined an Instagram, made an Instagram account, and I was actually, you know, has had somewhat of a audience. At this moment, on the 19th of April, I have, as of now, 4,620 followers, I think, or 4,610 followers, which is almost 5,000 people, which I think is a lot of people. We, if I ever, for myself, I have never had this huge audience. Even though 5,000, if you, now here's what you're going to do. You're going to compare my audience to, let's say, Billie Eilish's audience, or, you know, Kylie Jenner's audience. वो तो 100 मिलियन में खेलते हैं, तुम क्या 5,000 पे खुश हो रहे हो? मैं 5,000 पे इसलिए खुश हो रहा हूँ क्योंकि 5,000 मेरे लिए सबसे अच्छे आज तक हुए हैं. मतलब इससे ज़्यादा मेरे आज तक हुए ही नहीं है. दिस इज़ द मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ ऑडियंस आई एवर हैड. So this is a huge thing for me because I now have something to compare my like अभी जो audience है उस I have that audience to compare it with my previous audience. पहले मेरे 1,000 followers होते थे, अब मेरे 5,000 हैं, तो I have 5 times more. खैर, coming to the point, why is it so difficult for people to be happy nowadays? And the reason for that, I have made an entire case. अब ये सुने बैठ के आप लोग कि why you should compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. I'm going to say it again. And this is actually rule number 4 from Jordan Peterson's book. And most of this, my argument is based off of that book. Like, it makes a lot of sense. So I think it's extremely essential for me to share it with you people if you're watching still or listening. Okay, rule number 4 from his book is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. And I think this is something that people should live their life by. Reason being, here's the reason why. Back in the old days, you didn't have social media, or you didn't have access to literally everyone else in the entire world so easily. You know, it wasn't easy at all. You just knew the amount of people who you knew were in your city or in your town, and मतलब आपके एरिया में जो लोग हैं बस वही आपके लोग हैं, और वही ज़िंदगी आपकी पूरी ज़िंदगी आप उसी में गुजार देते हैं. ठीक है, तो इट वॉज वेरी एक्सेप्शनली ईजी टू बी एक्सेप्शनली गुड एट समथिंग व्हेन यू लिविंग इन अ वेरी स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ एरिया, स्मॉल छोटा सा एरिया. लेट्स से अगर इंटरनेट भी नहीं है आपके पास, कुछ भी नहीं है, और आप कोई 4,000 2,000 3,000 लोगों के शहरों में लोग रहते हैं एक शहर के अंदर, और आप उस शहर के अंदर रहते हैं, एंड you're an electrician in that शहर, और you're a plumber in that city or town. ठीक है, तो and you're a good plumber. That means in that city or town of 2,000 3,000 people, those people only know you as a plumber, so they think you're the best plumber there is. You know, they don't have that many plumbers us waqt, so they think you are an exceptionally good plumber. But now, because उस वक्त लोग कम थे, you didn't have much people to compare yourself with, so हर किसी के पास अपना एक छोटा सा डोमेन होता था और they were good at it. लेकिन with the internet and increase in population and many other factors, it became very difficult for people to be happy with anything they did. And I'll tell you why. Back in the old days, it was easier to enjoy the serotonin fueled confidence, you know, of the victor. Okay, bhai, when you lived in a very small area, it's easier to be, you know, successful. But let me give you an example of Karachi. कराची में एज ऑफ नाउ 15 मिलियन लोग रहते हैं. ओके, 15 मिलियन पीपल लिव इन कराची स्टेटिस्टिकली, ऑब्वियसली. And think of it this way, even if you're 1 in a million, there's 15 of you present in Karachi, and it's exceptionally easy for you to recognize those 15 people because of social network, internet, because social media. It's exceptionally easy for you to find out the exceptionally good people and smart people present in Karachi because of Instagram. So what you're going to do is that, so you're 1 in a million. That's not even a big deal now, because Karachi ke andar, if you're 1 in a million, there's like 15 others, 15 लोग और हैं आपके जैसे, और अब आप उनसे अपना वो कंपेयर कर सकते हैं क्योंकि because of the internet, and you find them on social media, like, you're comparing yourself to them constantly. अब ये तो कराची की बात हो गई. You're actually not only just connected to Karachi, you're connected to the entire world, entire Pakistan, पूरी दुनिया से आप connected हैं, ठीक है? So now you're connected to the other 7 billion or 8 billion people. So think of it this way, if you're 1 in a billion, there's 8 or 7 other people like you in the entire world, and it's easier for you to find the other 7 or 8 people who are just like you because of the internet. So our hierarchies are exceptionally, dizzy. Now, here's the thing, you might be a very good singer. You might be an exceptionally good singer. You might be an exceptionally good rapper. You know, you could be the best rapper in Karachi, but you're not Eminem. You know, you're not Beyonce if you're a good singer. You're not any of those people. You're not Matt Healy. You're not the 1975 wala band. You could have an exceptionally good band, and you could be in Kashmir, the band which won Pakistan ka Battle of the Bands. You could be a part of Kashmir. But then again, One Direction existed, But then again, BTS exists. So why do anything? Because there's always going to be someone who's going to be better at you, and it's now easier for you to recognize those people who are better than you because of the internet. That's why people on the internet are exceptionally sad. Okay. Now coming to like even if you're the prime minister of Pakistan, okay, even if you're the prime minister of Pakistan, like who gives a shit? There will always be someone who's the president of USA. So you will always, if you compare yourself to the president of USA, you're like, अबे मैं क्या prime minister बना हूँ, USA का president है, मैंने क्या उखाड़ लिया कुछ. So you could do something as exceptionally amazing as that, but then again, there will always be someone who is better than you. Now, we need to understand, you need to understand that you are not equal in ability or outcome. A person is not equal in ability or outcome. तो आई वाज स्टडिंग अबाउट दिस राइट. तो मैंने कहा यार अब क्या करें, क्या इंटरनेट छोड़ दें, इंस्टाग्राम छोड़ दें, ये सब चीज़ें छोड़ दें. यू कैन रियली डू दैट, तो व्हाट डू आई डू. मतलब अगर एक तो चीज़ होगी कि आई बिकम विलफुली ब्लाइंड अबाउट एवरीथिंग अराउंड मी एंड just completely focus on, and shelter away from people and criticism and just focus on myself and that's it. But that's just a very stupid and dumb way of living your life. अपनी बड़ी 10-12 ईंट की मस्जिद बना ली और उसमें रह रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं होता. तो एक दौर था, देयर वाज अ होल जनरेशन ऑफ सोशल साइकोलॉजिस्ट हु रेकमेंडेड अ थिंग्स नोन एज पॉजिटिव इल्यूजन एज द ओनली रिलायबल राउट टू मेंटल हेल्थ. कि मतलब अपने आप को झूठ बोल के ही आप खुश रह सकते हैं और कोई तरीका नहीं है. लेकिन थिंक ऑफ इट दिस वे, ठीक है. हियर इज एन ऑल्टरनेटिव अप्रोच. इफ द कार्ड्स आर ऑलवेज स्टैक्ड अगेंस्ट योर फेवर, ठीक है, ये एक इंग्लिश फ्रेज है. इफ द कार्ड्स आर always stacked against your favor and you're always losing at this game, then that means the game you're playing is rigged. अगर आप एक चीज़ में constantly हार रहे हैं, if you're comparing yourself, if you're doing something and then you're comparing yourself to someone who's better than you and then you're losing and you're unhappy, then that just means that the game of comparison that you're playing is just completely rigged. ठीक है, क्योंकि what's a game? A game is something that you have an equal opportunity of winning or losing. But at this game, you're just losing. So I think it's about time that you stop playing this game. And if think of it this way, if your internal voice constantly makes you doubt your values and your endeavors, then maybe you should stop listening to it. You should just make it shut up. But then question एक आता है यार, मतलब मैं क्या करूँ? Where do I start? Then you need to start. A good start would be to completely alienate the two black and white terms of success and failure completely. Like success क्या होता है, failure क्या होता है, ये एक बहुत ही black and white terms हैं. आप या तो success हैं या तो आप failure हैं. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होता. There is a gray area in between, and let's talk about that gray area. You need to realize that the world we live in is an exceptionally complex world. Now, you need to understand that the world we live in, the world as complex as ours, हम लोग इतनी बड़ी जनरलाइजेशन नहीं कर सकते कि कोई एक बंदा फेलियर है एंड एक बंदा सक्सेस है. You can't do that because the world is heavily complex. You can't just make that generalization कि कोई just based on a few things or कि मतलब if someone's failing at their career, then that means they're a failure. Or if someone doesn't make that much money, then they're just a failure. Or if someone who's not as pretty, they're just a failure. Or who's like dying, who is obese, is a failure. Who failed to exercise and stuff. Khair, you can't make those sort of generalizations because the world we live in is extremely complex. Okay? And ये जो भी ये generalization करता है ना, I think their brains are extremely naive, unsophisticated, and even malevolent at times. गलत है. But so in a way, you need to understand that life is not just a game in which you are a loser or a winner. Life is a set of games. And the most, you know, sane way of being or living is to, or the, reliable way of living would be to win as many games as you possibly can. Now, what are games? Games are, one game that you can play is your profession. Another game you can play is your family. Another game that you play is your health. Another game that you play is your personal relationships with your friends and family. Another game you play is, your, personal, businesses and all that. ये different sets of games हैं. And obviously, if you're playing so many games, then you're not going to be exceptionally good or win at every single game. So to make a judgment if someone who is not exceptionally good at their career is a failure, then that is extremely stupid. Because let's take two people for example. Let's take Umar and Saad for example. Okay? Ab Saad always constantly, Saad and Umar go to the same, university. Okay? And Saad constantly gets better grades than Umar. Okay? Umar gets like B's and C's, and Saad always gets straight A's. Okay? So you could make the assumption that Saad is a success and Umar is a failure because Umar is not getting good grades. Like people do that. Umar could make a, Umar ये कह सकता है यार compare करके यार Saad तो इतना अच्छा पढ़ता है और मैं तो नहीं हूँ. लेकिन but then that's just extremely stupid because you don't know कि, if Saad is succeeding at the game of, studies, then he's probably failing at some other game. You could think कि वो, what if like Saad is getting good grades but his girlfriend is cheating on him, whereas you have an exceptionally good relationship with your, girlfriend or whatever, you know or Saad is getting good grades but his parents are getting a divorce and your family is just amazing, you have an amazing family life. So you can't make that, you can't make that assumption okay, someone's a success or a failure. Someone's always failing at something and someone's always succeeding at a few things. So that comparison is just stupid to its core. So don't do that. And now how does this thought process work and how can I stop it? क्योंकि मैंने in order to understand ये मतलब ये thought process किस तरह चलता है and how do I stop myself from doing that, I had to realize कि यार I need to understand how this thought process works in my brain so that once it starts to happen, I could just, stop it. So I understood that, or who hota ye कि what it does is that it picks one variable. Okay? So let's say it picks the grades wala variable. So your mind picks the variable as grades and compares it to someone who is exceptionally good at getting grades. ठीक है सो यू गेट अ बी एंड देन योर माइंड सेज ओके तुम्हारा बी आया है उस बंदे को देखो जिसकी वर्ल्ड डिस्टिंक्शन आई है उसको देखो एंड देन योर माइंड डज एन एक्सेप्शनल अनदर थिंग एज वेल. वो क्या करता है वो कहता है कि हाँ ग्रेड तो आया है जिंदगी में ग्रेड्स के अलावा कुछ और है ही नहीं. तो ये एक थॉट प्रोसेस आ जाता है कि दिमाग कहता है कि उसके तो बहुत अच्छे आए हैं तुम्हारे इतने अच्छे नहीं आए लेकिन तुम्हारी ज़िंदगी में ग्रेड्स के अलावा कुछ और डिफाइन करता ही नहीं है तुमको. तो ये भी एक बात दिमाग में रखो तुम. एंड देन इफ़ यूर फीलिंग लाइक अ बिट टू स्कैंडलस तो तुम्हारा ब्रेन क्या करेगा इट विल कन्विंस यू दैट जस्ट बिकॉज even though you try so hard you get a B and that person tries the same amount and somehow gets a distinction, then this is the fundamental reason for the injustice of life. Your brain is going to make you convince you कि ये इसी तरह होता है. So that's just extremely stupid to its core, and I highly suggest if you go through something like this, if you start thinking कि मतलब you start comparing yourself to other people, just sit and relax and understand what you're doing and then think to yourself, is this actually worth it? मतलब do you actually know that person that you're comparing yourself to? Do you actually know कि इसकी ज़िंदगी में क्या ये सिर्फ पढ़ता है इसके बाद कुछ और है नहीं, या फिर ये सिर्फ ये चीज़ करता है इसके बाद कुछ और है नहीं, या फिर you know if he's winning at a certain game, then he's also definitely losing at something else. And if you're losing at something, then you're almost definitely winning at something else as well. So focus on your wins and try to work on your losses. because you're not always going to win, because always winning would completely entail of would completely, say means that you're not progressing or you're not learning new things, and that's not something that you should do. You should not, because if let's say someone who's like 15 years old and is in still the fourth grade, he would top the class every single time, but he would not learn something new, you know. So if you're always winning, then that means you're not learning. Okay. And yeah, so how can you convince yourself to not do that? And how can you convince yourself to be more productive? And how I convince myself to be more productive is Cooper. I'm gonna have the next podcast, and it's gonna be gonna be fun. This one was a bit too much, and but it's a topic that's extremely important to me, and it's extremely necessary for me to talk about, and I hope you guys took something out of it. I know this is boring or whatever the fuck, but realize that not all podcasts are going to be like this. It's going to be fun as well. Like, currently I've been reading a lot, mashallah, alhamdulillah, and I whatever I've been reading and understanding and realizing, I'm trying to share it with you guys. So if anyone who listened to the entire thing, thank you. I know this is an audio podcast, not many people listen to audio podcasts, but I don't want to be famous because of my podcast. I just want to make podcasts. Okay, I said that way too much. Okay, you might have seen a completely different side of me through this, and I hope you took something out of it. I know if you're an intellectual and you like learning new things, then you might have enjoyed this one. Yeah, thank you for staying along, and Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.